We already shed light on the 2 memos that were brought to light soon. However, these may not change a single thing about the case because Ripple is winning anyways. Why? And who did now also step up for Ripple? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. But first, we are giving away 50 XRP coins at the end of the month to one random subscriber to start on their XRP journey. All you need to do is to like the video, subscribe and comment your thoughts on XRP in the comment section. Welcome back XRP Army. The Securities and Exchange Commission has filed a motion for partial reconsideration and clarification in response to Magistrate Judge Ned Burns' decision on the DPP. Earlier this month, Ripple filed a petition with the Securities and Exchange Commission to compel the SEC to release documents in which the plaintiff claims deliberative process privilege. The pre-announced action is related to that case. On June 14, 2018, the judge ordered the agency to give a few notes, as well as a single, clean draft of a speech delivered by Bill Hinman, which the agency promptly delivered. After finding that emails concerning the speech or draft versions are neither pre-decisional nor deliberative agency documents entitled to protection under the Deliberative Process Privilege (DPP), the court ruled that the SEC must disclose over the correspondence. By the way, did you know about this perspective? Let us know in the comment section down below. It sought that the court reconsider its prior ruling and find that all such documents are protected by the DPP. The court granted the request. The Securities and Exchange Commission was successful in its request. Apart from that, the plaintiff has asked the court to clarify whether the order requires the production of all speech drafts and related emails on the SEC privilege logs, the vast majority of which reflect the views of staff other than Director Hinman on a critical policy issue that affects multiple agency divisions and offices, and whether this is required by the order, according to a letter sent to the court. It is necessary to re-examine this aspect of the court's decision because the court relied on a single document relating to the speech, one that defendants chose to highlight for the court, and failed to take into account the 67 other emails attaching drafts of the speech that were before the court on defendants' motion. These additional documents, along with other matters available to the court and described below, demonstrate that the speech was not merely peripheral to actual policy formation, and was in fact an essential link in the SEC's deliberative process with respect to Ether. Comment, XRP Army, if you believe this is great news. According to the most recent sources, the SEC appears to have chosen another tack in regards to William Hinman's 2018 address on whether it was his personal opinion or the SEC public guideline. Based on the speech and the plethora of drafts and comments submitted by the SEC staff from various divisions and offices debating the agency's approach to the regulation of digital assets, it is clear that Director Hinman and other the SEC staff used the speech to provide public guidance on how Corp Fin would apply the federal securities laws to the offers and sales of digital assets, such as Ether. Director Hinman's public utterances may, in fact, be relied upon as expressing the opinions of Corp Fin, the division that he oversaw, according to the SEC regulations. Therefore, the SEC insisted that the speech, along with other drafts and communications related to it, are protected by DPP under the court's own analysis because they reflect the types of deliberations that the SEC staff need to be able to conduct, with the expectation of candor, and they are no different from other documents that the court has already found to be protected under the DPP. A key struggle in the SEC versus Ripple action is the battle for William Hinman's 2018 Ether lecture, as well as the other 67 related papers, which is one of the most critical challenges in this case. Ripple would almost certainly use the notes to its advantage, and it could do so in either scenario: to argue that XRP is not a security, or to allege that the SEC failed to provide fair notice of the planned rule change, among other things. Do you agree that Ripple is winning the case? If yes, then make sure to like this video. In spite of the fact that the Securities and Exchange Commission chose to characterize the speech as Hinman's personal opinion in order to avoid providing ammunition to Ripple's defense, the strategy backfired when Judge Sarah Nett Byrne ruled in the following year that the materials were not protected by deliberative process privilege. The verdict was hailed warmly by Ripple and XRP holders, who were allowed as amicus curiae in the lawsuit and expressed their satisfaction with the outcome. The court order, according to attorney John Deaton, was a triumph, but he asserted that the most significant win was not the speech draft itself, but rather the notes taken during meetings with third parties who were not involved with the corporation. Currently, the SEC is appealing the ruling and seeking that the documents be preserved by the DPP, alleging that the aforementioned speech constituted public guidance and that, as a consequence, any notes relating to it should be preserved. While the public will never know what was discussed in the notes with the third parties, Ripple may be able to use the information against the SEC if it is converted back into public guidance. Attorney Jeremy Hogan recently stated his fear that the Securities and Exchange Commission may be hiding something really bad from the public. Furthermore, the pleasurable feeling is shared by a second individual as well as the first. The material, according to Ripple's general counsel, Stuart Alderoty, led to the conclusion that XRP was not a security or investment contract. As a result, the documents might possibly undermine the case that regulatory officials have been making for more than a year. In 2012, when Alderoty revised the memoranda and the company's thought process, he included the following information in the document. In 2012, in the lack of clear case law and 5 years before the Securities and Exchange Commission ever discussed digital assets, Ripple should be applauded for having the foresight to obtain legal advice from a credible organization in the first place. Among the first businesses to do so in the cryptocurrency area, Ripple was one of the pioneers. The comments of Gabriel Shapiro, general counsel of Delphi Digital Labs, give more insight into the memorandum's contents. For this reason, and due to the changing legal and regulatory landscape, the legal expert believes that identical materials would be unlikely to have exactly the same results in the future. It appears that recent events have evoked a positive response among XRP investors. While now hanging just above the $0.746 support level, RP is about to make another attempt to break through the $0.818 resistance barrier. A rejection at this level is essential for the initiation of a strong slump. If this occurs, Ripple will attempt to regain control of the $0.746 foothold. In light of the current developments around Bitcoin, it seems possible that this barrier will be breached. As a result, investors can expect the remittance token to decline in value, particularly given the presence of the fair value gap, FVG. As a result of the inefficiency of the XRP price during its initial rise higher, the bearish thesis gains more credibility. Ripple is expected to have a 17% loss in value in total. Regardless of the FVG, if the XRP price continues to rise and closes with a 4-hour candlestick close above $0.818, it will signal a higher price and disprove the bearish thesis in the process. In this scenario, the bulls are expected to drive the XRP price higher in order to overcome the $0.866 resistance level. If Ripple is able to break through this barrier, market makers are expected to drive the coin back up to the $0.917 resistance level in order to collect the buy-stop liquidity that has accumulated above it. What do you think about the SEC versus Ripple case by now? Do you agree Ripple is sure to win it? Let us know in the comment section. If you want to continue to know about XRP, we have got 2 videos waiting for you on the end screen to check out. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Kindly note that prices of cryptocurrencies frequently change, so by the time you watch this video, it might have changed to a whole new value. The information provided in this video does not constitute investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and you should not treat any of the content as such. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and hence should not be considered financial advice. Do conduct your due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions.